Hi everybody, it's Tripl-L and hey, time to talk My Hero Academia chapter 194. So excited to talk about this chapter, man. I really want to talk about the one for all. Yeah, there we go, the one for all stuff, but I definitely want to talk about the last little bit at the end. This has been something we've been waiting for so long. We've just been waiting for it to come, and it's finally here. We're finally getting the extra little bit with Shinso, so I just want to talk about that first, and then we'll talk about the one for all stuff. So we'll pretty much be working from the back to the front, and also the visuals will be a little bit reduced because putting manga panels has not been working out for me, so I'm gonna be careful with it. Don't want to get the channel in more trouble. Want to keep those strikes off for as long as possible. So without further ado, hey, thanks for watching, and let's just get into the video. So the beginning of the channel, we end off with Shinso, and the chapter kind of led up to it by having Izuku run into Shinso and Aizawa earlier when he was talking to All Might, and this was pretty cool. So in case you guys don't remember, right around, let's see, we had previously seen Aizawa and Shinso walking together back in chapter, it was before we went off onto the summer camp, because I remember that scene was missing from the anime. We had seen Shinso walking with Aizawa at that time. That was one time before, and the second time that we saw Shinso around was when Sero spotted him when everyone came back right before we got introduced to Mirio's group. So those were two instances where we knew that Shinso was doing stuff and Aizawa was involved. And this chapter just gave us the third scene, which just continued that trend. I think what really just sells it though is at the end when we see Shinso. We see him wearing two pieces of equipment that I think are interesting. The first piece is clearly the stuff that Aizawa wears, that little memory tape alloy thing that he uses to catch people. The second piece is covering his, well, it's covering his mouth, but the design is very, very interesting. And okay, no, we're still 2 minutes in, so I can't show any pictures. Okay, but yeah, we have those two things, and the Aizawa stuff, there might be a nice sentimental reason there. It might be legitimately Shinso might really like Aizawa for taking a chance on him, and Aizawa, if Aizawa is the one training him, he might be teaching him how to use extra equipment, because unfortunately Shinso isn't someone who is gonna be able to just coast on the power of his quirk alone, although it is strong. He's kind of like Aizawa. Aizawa has a really, really powerful quirk when it comes to dealing with people, but he needs more options to be able to deal with more scenarios. So Aizawa giving him this kind of training and the kid adopting some stuff that Aizawa uses makes total amount of sense, right? This is the class of hero. We're talking people like Aizawa, we're talking people like Stain. These are people that need extra things on top of their quirk to be able to be effective. So I like that Shinso is going down that route. Truthfully, if Izuku never got a quirk, there's really nothing stopping him from being someone like Aizawa or Stain, because those two were both extremely effective people, and they just happen to use a lot of equipment, and that is enough to make a difference when it comes to doing their heroics or doing their villainy, whichever one you had for those scenarios. So the tape that Shinso is wearing, I'm really happy about that. I think that's such a great move. I think that's such a great design for the kid, and I think it makes sense, and just kind of it reinforces the dynamic with Aizawa and Shinso. I really love it. Now the mask piece, there aren't many characters that wear those mouth guards in the series. One of the people that does wear it is Miss Joke, and in terms of functionality, I see that piece, and it might just legitimately be something. There might be a speaker in there. There might be a canceller in there. Something that could cancel Shinso's quirk so people feel okay talking to him. Or maybe even something just to let the quirk go further so that Shinso can affect more people. Because we still don't know exactly how the quirk works and what its limitations are in terms of the distance that people are allowed to respond from, right? We don't know if someone's able to hear Shinso from say very, very far away. If it's just the fact that they're able to hear it. We don't know if that's what triggers it, or if Shinso has to be in proximity. For instance, we don't really know what would happen if, say, Shinso records his voice, he has the voice play later on, And then if someone responds to the voice recording, does that trigger the quirk, right? We don't know that kind of effect, how it works with people. So this device might give us a bigger clue into like the logistics of his quirk. But the design of the device itself looks a lot like Izuku's smile guard, or the mouth guard that Izuku wears. And it makes me wonder if Shinso is like secretly kind of inspired by Izuku. Because when they left off last time, Shinso was still kind of cold towards him. And he was talking more about Izuku being blessed compared to him not. And I'm not sure if he got enough development to say that he looks at Izuku in a better light. Although he was happier in this chapter. But the design itself is just so striking to Izuku's own guard that I think it'd be okay to say like, yeah, this kid probably has some like design influences from Izuku, and I would love it if we got a confirmation and we have him talk about like, yeah, you know, Izuku is pretty cool, and you know, I'd love it if this guy was the third member of the Izuku fan club along with Koda and Eri. Okay, so that's done with Shinso, and I will put up an image because we're 6 minutes in the video now. No one's probably watching it. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool design. I love that this kid's here. Okay, so before that, we were also dealing with Bakugo and the winter upgrade uniforms. Really, all I'm going to say is that I think the winter uniforms or the winter costumes look so much more slick. I love them. They're cool. I would love it if these were just the standard costumes, but whatever. This is just an excuse to give the characters different designs. And I'm all for it. I'm really all for it. In terms of the designs, the ones who I think have the bigger opportunity here, or like the ones who I think are a bit more important, are just the designs of Class 1B, because it just further solidifies some of their quirks. It kind of sort of solidifies some of their quirks. So let's just go through this. I want to put the image up right now. Let's look at it. So right off the bat, there's a few cool ones, and I think the girls have some of the more striking ones, just because we haven't gotten to see the girls as often as we've seen, like, say, Tetsu. So if you look at the lizard girl, that's the girl whose quirk is something like, it's named after the phenomena of, or the thing that lizards can do, like they can, how would you say it? They drop off their tail and they can run away. So her getting a lizardy kind costume makes sense. So now I wonder, okay, how does she use this quirk? Should she just drop off her arm? And I don't think I've seen the quirk before, so if you guys have already seen it and I'm just forgetting, let me know in the comments. But it's cool to see that kind of the design carrying through with the name of the quirk. The mushroom girl, we know her quirk is mushroom. We don't really know what she can do, like if she causes mushrooms to just sprout. The other girl that's in the shot and kind of in the center, she, I think, is the one that can shrink and enlarge. Kinda? I think that was her. To the right of the lizard girl, this is the exchange student from China. I don't recall what his quirk was named, but this type of costume, this is a type of zombie. That's a type of undead in usually a lot of anime and manga. They will have this kind of design, and it'll be an undead that's been risen. I know Shaman King had a character who was pretty much this kind of design, but I just can't recall what the name for this type of undead is. But the talisman that he has on his head is usually what would in the folklore and in the other series, it's what binds them and brings them to life. And finally, there's the guy whose power is dark or black, and he's right behind Monoma. He's wearing all black, and this, I think when I made the video about this guy, I thought possibly that blackness kind of just propagates from him and he's able to use it. So him being covered in total black, I think kind of makes sense, but we need to see his quirk in action to really be sure how this thing works. Also, there's like the one guy who's off to the right, right underneath the Chinese zombie. Not sure who that is. I'm really confused. But anyway, yeah, I'm pretty excited. The Class 1B outfits are cool. They're cool enough to look at. I'm wondering now if this is going to be a good enough time for Class 1B to show their stuff. I hope they I hope we get to see some cool stuff from them. That's all I'm gonna say. Class 1A's costumes, we kind of saw them on the chapter. I think Bakugo has the best upgrade. And now let's move into the One for All stuff, because this is another really cool part. So one of the things that I really love coming out of this is that we got to see the face first, or like the oh, apologies guys, it's late and I'm kind of tired. We got to see them facing Izuku. I really love that because, well, I don't know, I think the one that I liked seeing the most was just the first guy. Yeah, it was just cool to see his eye and just seeing that they are kind of all supporting Izuku. They like, a good amount of them were smiling, so it's just really neat. Anyway, aside from this really awesome image of just the people looking at Izuku, we also just got confirmation from All Might that this is something that's pretty unique to Izuku right now. And that's a pretty big deal. That's a big kind of distinction from All Might. Now we can legitimately say that All Might didn't really master this quirk, right? Because to say master means that he understood all the capacities of the quirk. And so that's a really big deal, because when people look at All Might, they look at him as this symbol of perfection, and it's really not the case, right? All Might is as human as everyone else, and he tried to do a lot of things in his life, and he tried to take this quirk to its natural extent. I do think that if we were to break down the quirk in its components, I do think that All Might ended up really maximizing the physical aspect of the quirk. But I think he might have only have seen the quirk as a physical aspect. Because when we have the flashback with Nana, she's kind of talking in ways that makes it seem that the quirk is more, well, she's more philosophical about the quirk. And All Might's response to that was just that it sounds paranormal. That kind of response just makes it seem like he kind of just, how would I say it? He kind of just turned away from that aspect of the quirk and just kind of focused on what he could understand. So I'm really interested in this. I want to know what triggered it, because All Might like does bring up a really good question. We don't know if it's an outside force bringing it on or if it's Izuku. Like, what about Izuku is more special than All Might in terms of the mentality and the spirituality aspect of the quirk? What would allow him to see the first guy? What would allow him to talk to the other people, something that All Might couldn't do? Is it just a matter of Izuku being more mindful than All Might? Well, I don't think so. It's hard to tell. The good thing about all of this, though, is that it does confirm that One for All stockpiles things other than physical power. It stockpiles energy, and that should have been. I want to be careful with saying energy, because when I say energy, I mean it's hard, because we knew that One for All worked on energy from the very beginning, because that's how the transfer works. Izuku eats a piece of DNA, he ingests it, his DNA changes, and over time the flames that All Might has get transferred to him. That's pretty much a transference of energy, because all the power that Izuku has doesn't really reside in his body. It's coming from outside, and then I imagine it like some kind of aura, and we see it with the way the anime draws it, we see it with the way the manga draws it. They draw it as sparks going around the body, so we know that a good part of it is outside. He doesn't have the muscle mass to come up with the power the same way that All Might has, so he definitely has some kind of invisible container around him. So we knew energy was always there. Now you like go into that new agey perspective of energy, like your thoughts have energy, and then you have what Nana is saying. So in the end, if you just call everything energy and you say that your thoughts are energy, it makes total sense that One for All would transfer that as well as physical energy. Of course, energy is not an accurate term, but for the purposes of a manga, it'll work fine. Anyway, I'm really excited about all this. At the end, or one of the things that Izuku points out is that All Might's also not fully there yet. And I'm not gonna lie, Izuku makes the hypothesis that it's probably because All Might's still too recent. No, it's because All Might's alive. I'm pretty sure that the moment that All Might dies, if the author still wants to do it, the All Might form is going to show up there. Like, All Might's going to be solidified in One for All. I'm pretty sure that if you're talking about the stockpile, I feel it would be totally appropriate to have One for All also stockpile a portion of someone's spark of life, right? that one portion of like that person's, well, I don't know, life force or something will get shoved in there when they die. And that makes One For All a really interesting quirk when it comes to it, because it's a quirk that could potentially be dealing with the soul. And when you like consider it like that, it's kind of weird that it goes so far, because this is the one that's like Nana says it's a romantic idea of being able to see each other again in One For All, but that's a pretty big paranormal like inclusion to One For All, and it doesn't necessarily come out of just understanding the stockpile. I mean, you can also ask, like, start like the debate of whether or not, or what constitutes the soul. Because if you would say like, well, no, maybe it's not actually the soul, maybe they just get memories and ideas and they get shoved in there. But then you would ask, well, is that not part of a soul? Like, do your memories make up a part of your soul, or do your memories exist in a separate place from your soul and your soul just has access to your memories? Like, you know, you could start that kind of discussion. But I think the best, if we wanted to make sure and figure out how, if we wanted to figure out if an actual portion of a person's soul was getting stuck in One For All, the best way to do it would be to look at if the memories are able to come up with new ideas. If the memories are able to learn new lessons, it kind of makes it seem as though they're not just memories, and it's actually legitimately a portion of someone's life, or like that a portion of their consciousness is stored in there. It's tough. It's tough. I'm really interested. I want to know to what degree things are going down. I want to know to what degree One For All stores things. But we may not get this for another like 100 chapters if we're unlucky. But my bet right now is that if All Might dies, the All Might form in One For All is going to be fully fleshed out. And that's going to make for some pretty sad stuff for Izuku when the time comes. Anyway, I'm excited. I'm pretty excited about the One For All stuff. I think this is pretty cool. So guys, let me know what you think down below, and let's leave it there. Till next time, I hope you have an absolutely great day.